the bag work about an apartment 5B.
You're now tuned into the Apartment 5B podcast, where we chop it up about hip-hop, R&B, sports, love and life. Hosted by Kill.
What's good? You tune in Apartment 5B, hosted by your man Kill. I got my squad up here in effect with me. Ladies first, I got Porsha. What's going on, miss?
How's it going, Kill?
Everything is great. Vegas, out of Brooklyn. What's good, fam?
Chilling, man. What's good?
Man, everything is good. Everything is good. Nick, what's good, babe?
Another day, man. Ready to roll.
All right. I got my man Eddie out in LA. What's going on, fam?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
All right, y'all know me. Let's get right into it. The other day, my homegirl Abstract Mind on Twitter hit me up, and she was talking about, I forgot how we got on topic of it, but it was just like, yo, Nas picks the wackest beats in the world. You know what I mean? And it's one of those things where I kind of thought that was just the fact of life, like sky is blue, you know, water's wet, Nas picks the wackest beats. But people got on to me and was like, yo, Nas don't pick the wackest beats, and da-da-da-da. So we're going to be doing a show today about your worst beat pickers, you know what I mean? Why cats like Rick Ross and Game, who may not be the most lyrically, but always pick dope beats. I hear all the time, and it may just be me, but cats are like, yo, if Nas had Rick Ross's beats, that nigga would be the greatest MC ever, or whatever like that. We're going to talk about one of my personal philosophies is that's messed up hip hop is the death of the executive producer. And then just being a producer for so many years, I've got so many beat stories and stories about MCs and why I think it's hard for some MCs to pick beats. And then they, our resident Apartment 5B, you know what I mean? Ill Will's cousin, knows Nas, is going to give us some insight on Nas's beat picking, whatever the fuck, how he does it. Is that right, Veg? You going to let us in, man?
Yeah, I know a little bit from experience. Yeah.
All right, no doubt. So hopefully we'll walk away with why Nas is the worst fucking beat picker ever. So we're gonna get started with this. Like, who are your top 3 worst beat pickers, and or your worst albums that you were looking forward to where the beats let you down? I'm gonna set it off in no particular order, but Nas is number 1. I got Nas, I got Cannabis, I got Freeway, and I got Joe Budden. These are, like, to me, 4 of the worst beat fucking pickers walking the planet Earth. Now, somebody's saying Freeway, well, that first Free album, but this is where we're going to come into the executive producer. I mean, Free was on Rockefeller. Rockefeller had Just Blaze and Kanye West. I mean, the fuck, you can't go wrong. You know what I mean? And then when he did the album with Jake One, who was one of the most incredible producers that's out here, same thing. But whenever Free has an album and it's not with a certain producer, I'm always leery about the beats, including this new one. Same thing with Joe Budden. Y'all know I love Joe Budden as an MC to the max, but I don't know how the fuck this nigga picks beats. I don't know if he's playing rock, paper, scissors. I don't know if it's just the first thing a producer plays for him or whatever, but it wasn't until Mood Music 4 where I felt like he really had a solid body of work. And also his last album, Rage Against the Machine, with God, what's that producer's name?
A-Rap Music.
A-Rap Music. Which will again go back into my executive producer point later on in the show, but also about when you have one producer working with one MC and why I just feel like there's so much better energy that way. So, Veg, why don't you tell me, man, do you have any MCs, before we get into the Nas thing, we'll get into that later, that you feel like are just horrible beat pickers or just albums that you were let down because of the beats?
Well, first, I just want to say that I think when it comes to, you know, like to beat picking, and I'm not going to get too much into it, with the people we name, I think in some cases, because some people are going to point this out in their head as soon as we start naming names, some of these people may have 1 album, 2 album where the beats are actually good. Right. But I think what you're saying is over their body of work is mostly whack beats. You know what I'm saying?
Well, a little bit of both. Like even with Nas, I'm always like, well, for me, Nas on Illmatic, I felt like even though it says MC Search was the executive producer, I always thought Large Pro was the executive producer because I felt like Large Pro was like, yo,
legwork.
Yeah, like let me take you up to Mount Vernon to get with Q-Tip. Yo, let me introduce you to Premier. Like, yo, let me introduce you to, you know, Q-Tip. Like, let me connect the dots for you. And then even on It Was Written, you had Steve Stout, who's the executive producer, who of course was managing Trackmasters. Now, once Nas didn't have anybody, and I'm gonna say this throughout the show, and it's not in any type of disrespectful way. When Nas didn't have nobody holding his hand to say, here are these producers, or rock with these people, I felt like that's when his beats kind of got a little off. Like that's why I was saying with Freeway, because somebody was like, yo, Free's first album was crazy. Well, he was on the rock. Like
even the second one was, he got 3. I don't know how many total he got, but he got 3 that's dope to me.
Okay.
Even with Nas, the Trackmasters executive produced I Am and Nostradamus.
Ooh, see, I didn't read them labels. Okay. See, that's why I said I learned shit too. So Vague, back to you. I'm sorry, good brother.
Yeah, I think it depends, man, because we can't, like, even though it says executive producer, we know, but I think in some cases we can't confirm and just say they whack beat pickers. We can really only go with the finished product and say, you know, why you always got whack beats. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna just give one because I ain't really write a list and kind of freestyle. Well, actually, I have 2. And you can come back to me on it, but looking at the totality of his work, especially as a solo artist, Rakim. If you listen to a lot of those albums that aren't Eric B. and Rakim, and even some of the joints that are Eric B. and Rakim, there are way more whack beats and whack records as a result than there are good records. And a lot of people, when you say Rakim, especially Eric B. and Rakim, they go straight to Paid in Full. Just like if you say Nas, they go straight to Illmatic. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And that's not the case. Like I've listened to a recent Rakim album, and I was like, my God, like this is terrible. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not like he's any different than he's ever been, but like the record he did on the Luke Cage soundtrack, that sounded alright. You know, it was okay. But if you listen to that album he released a couple years ago, it was terrible, and it was kind of like it was the beats, because I don't know what the goal was. I don't know if he picked them. I don't know if he had someone else involved. Another person, but this is actually a group, Slaughterhouse. When Slaughterhouse was coming out, I just knew what the hell they beats was going to sound like. I was ready, and I don't even remember they beats. That's how how forgettable those beats were for the most part. You know what I'm saying? You kind of really got in there because of the MCs being dope, and you kind of like it because you like the MCs, but the beats are not memorable at all. And another one that I have is AZ. I think AZ's had, like, every album he's had ever since maybe Pieces of a Man, it's been spotty, and it's been because of the beats. He picks all kinds of beats, and not all of them go with his flow. You know what I'm saying? He typically sounds good on a certain type of track, but when you listen to, especially if you listen to a more recent AZ album, like, he'll pick all kinds of beats that's just like, yo, why? And he's rhyming the same way. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the key with like somebody like Freeway, Rakim, Nas, AZ. They rhyme a specific way, and that specific flow doesn't match every beat that they pick. And that's why we look back and be like, well, why the hell you choose that beat? So I don't know. But I'll have more for the overall conversation.
And it's funny you said Slaughterhouse, because that's going to go into more of my executive producer, the definitely executive producer, because the funny thing with all 4 of them niggas, I don't think none of them can pick beats. Well, I really can't speak on Crooked because I got put on a Crooked through Slaughterhouse. So I don't really know any of his solo stuff, but I never, up until like this Prime album and really this Book of Ryan, I've always thought Royce's Achilles heel has been the beats he picks. You know what I mean? So with Royce, with Joe, and Crooked, I kind of knew like y'all, all 3 of y'all wasn't gonna help each other because y'all all got the same fucking deficiency. So you know what I mean? So I definitely feel you on that. Porsche, what about you? You got any albums or any MCs or anything that because of the beats?
MC, I've got J. Cole, and the reason I got J. Cole is because I always hear people talk about how great J. Cole is and how great his albums are and how he goes platinum with no features and how he's like, you've got to listen to J. Cole if you like so-and-so. J. Cole is going to be like, you're going to love J. Cole. And I listen and I'm like, this doesn't sound good at all. Like, I don't know what it is. KOD was a massive disappointment. I think I liked one J. Cole album. I can't remember the name of it right now. Something about hills, some address or something. Yeah, Forest Hills Drive, that one. Yeah, I liked that one. And that one was pretty dope. And then I thought, okay, yeah, like, you know, J. Cole's pretty decent. And then hearing KOD, I was like, no, this is like KOD is a trash album to me. I didn't like anything about it, from beats to lyrics to concept. I didn't like anything. So Cole, I think, sucks at it. I don't really like Kanye's beats, to be honest. In general. Now
we talking Kardashian, yay, or we talking late registration?
Well, I'm talking like, yeah, maybe Kardashian, Kanye. I think, and honestly, I think that's cemented in the those albums that he released. None of those were exciting on the production side or the beat side. So Kanye's another one, and Eminem. I can't stand Eminem's. I think he's just gone on a very, very steep downhill slope with beat selection and album quality overall. So those are mine.
You know, the funny thing with Cole and Eminem, because you know me, I'm always trying to sit over here and try to connect these dots. I think both of them, their biggest thing is that they're both producers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And J. Cole let somebody else produce an album for him. We probably would enjoy it a little bit more.
Right.
Your producer, and my man Mills put me on to this. It's like, yo, it's hard to tell. Like, I didn't like Watch the Throne, but he was like, yo, how you gonna tell Jay and Ye that, you know, these niggas just did a 11 encore performance of Niggas in Paris? Like, you can't tell somebody who's winning this shit ain't good. So like you just said, J. Cole, platinum with no features. I can't go to J. Cole like, yo, fam, you should get some outside production. He gonna be like, my nigga, I go platinum with no features. Like, you know what I mean? Exactly. So it doesn't even add up. And then the same thing with Eminem, like, and that's why I always give Havoc and Outkast so much props, because you really seldomly find an MC or somebody who didn't come up making beats become incredible with making the beats. Like, I feel like that average you get are your J. Cole's and your Eminems. It's like, oh, I'm MC. Let me try to save some money, which is going to come into my discussion later. Let me save some money from paying all these other niggas, and I'm going to just do the beats myself. And then you get what you get. Nick, what about you, good brother?
I mean, they took some of mine because I had Rakim on my list. KRS-One is another one. If you look through, he got to have like 20 albums. I haven't liked the KRS album since the self-titled in 95.
Right.
Eminem is another one. The first two albums were good. Then after that, it just kind of went downhill. It just been continuously downhill. Like specific albums that disappointed me due to production would be Nas, I Am, and Nostradamus, like back to back. That was a tough period because that's my favorite MC, so it was hard defending him during those times. And I would say Raekwon, the a Mobilarity joint. You know, after waiting 4 or 5 years after Only Built for Cuban Links, that it just didn't live up to expectations. And it came out right around the time Nostradamus came out. So you got two of my favorite rappers that dropped two of the worst albums of that year, like back to back. So that was a tough winner right there.
Yo, the funny thing is with Ray, this is one of the questions I always want to ask Ray. Like, what the fuck made you pick them beats on a Mobilarity? You know what I mean? But then you bounce back with Only Built for Cuban Links 2, and the beat selection is fucking incredible. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh.
But he had some stuff between that, though. Because it's a decade between the Mobilarity and Only Built for Cuban Links 2.
This is how much I fucking checked out. You know, like I always tell y'all, rappers get when they be like, all right, Muddy Waters 2, you know, Supreme Clientele. Yeah. Like, that's a rapper's thing. Like, we gonna drop all these wag ass albums and we gonna make part 2 of y'all favorite album and make it happen. Somebody get phone calls? It just disappeared. The phone ringing. Yo, it's a wild day, man. It's a wild day. Nick just got muted. All right. Well, yeah. So there were how many albums were in between Immobilarity and Cuban Links 2?
There's only one.
Okay.
Here
Here we go, like DMX. Here we go again. Yeah, that was your boy. That was the Dome. What's my name?
Oh,
Yeah, he just it's the same thing with Grat.
but why they call you?
I don't know. It's the same
I'm not
shit happened
hanging
with
up.
Grat.
I am not hanging up.
Yeah, we good. We gotta rock.
You don't want to wind up in Ray's Boom Boom Room.
Wild night around here and hang out. All right. So there was an album. What was the album that was between Immobilarity and Cuban Links for 2?
I could.
Lex
Okay.
Diamonds.
That's Diamonds.
So how was that album?
Yeah.
I liked it.
You
It had
like?
some joints. It was better than Immobilarity. That's
It was
Yeah.
it was better than
Way better
Immobilarity,
than
but it
Immobilarity.
wasn't. It
All right.
wasn't like the most memorable album. I don't know.
All right,
To
no
me.
doubt, no doubt. All right, Ed, what about you, good brother?
Just like everyone else was saying, a few were already on my list, like Cannabis, Eminem, AZ, Nas. I do have a few others. You know what? I have one that's probably blasphemy. I'm gonna get it out the way first, and Porsha's gonna give me the death stare. Tupac.
Yo, that's a
Yeah.
good fucking pick, my G.
I
Like,
get it because because he don't rap over like
He's you know, but you know he's a MC that raps well over bad beats, I guess. But
yes, did you just box well over bad? Yo, that's the funniest way I've ever heard Pac explain in my life.
but you know what? People say that about Nas too. People say that about Nas too.
See, I can't see Nas rocking well over bad beats. That Nostradamus shit. I just the song, but neither here nor there. But Pac's a good pick. But you got anybody else too?
Yeah. I got Jada Kiss. A matter of
Yeah,
fact,
I
you
had
could throw
Jada
in-
Kiss too.
Yeah, you could throw in all the Lock solo
Pretty
joints too. And you know, to go further, even though the production was better on the Locks albums, I didn't really care for it either. I didn't think the Locks as a group. When I picture the Locks, I picture street hardcore rhymes, right? Spitters. I didn't think they fit over the bad boy beats, and honestly, I didn't think they fit over the Swiss beats or Rider stuff either. So neither of those I liked. I thought with the D Block stuff, they started getting back into their zone, especially with their mixtapes. But prior to that, nah.
it's a shame that they don't have a bulletproof classic. They should have a classic. The
Yeah.
Lot should have a classic. Oh, another album I forgot was Redman, Malpractice. That's the one I was trying to remember.
Oh, that album's just trash.
Yeah,
That's
that. Ooh.
not even deep.
But the last MC I wanna throw in there is J. Rue, the Damager.
Mhm.
After he stopped working with Primo, it went downhill after that.
Right.
I think he tried to produce for himself as well.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, that wasn't a good look. And the funny thing with J. Rue is a lot of people don't know he had an EP out with Large Professor doing all the beats. That really wasn't that dope either. You know what I mean?
I missed that. What was the name of that?
Beats the fuck. I don't fucking. I think it's around here somewhere. I mean, just Google J. Rue and Large
It
Professor.
was like in the 90s?
I mean, not recently. Like not recent. Like in the past 10 years. Put it that way.
Yeah, I mean, Large Professor ain't been that tight to me either the past 10 years. So.
Yeah, I feel you. Now tell me this. So, because like I said, I've heard at least people saying, yo, if Nas could pick beats like Rick Ross or Game, his discography is bulletproof. What do you all think it is with Game and Rick Ross that they just have this crazy ear to pick beats? For me, I've always thought they kind of know deep down inside they're not the most lyrical geniuses in the world, so they kind of feel like I gotta get the dopest beats, you know what I mean, to spit over because the beat is really gonna be what catches people. Whereas I feel like Nas and Jay and Joe Budden, some of these other the voices, all these lyrical fucking martial art artists, you know, feel like, man, just I rhyme over anything, throw over breakbeat, I kill anything. So that's my personal take. But Faye, what do you think? Why do you think Game and Ross can pick such incredible beats?
Well, I definitely don't think it's because they feel like they're not the best. No MC feels like that, even the whack ones. I think it's just they just good. They have good ear for music. You know what I'm saying? I think they know what kind of mood they want on certain tracks. I think they got the vision when they hear the track. And they kind of, maybe in some cases they got their ear to the street, you know, so they know what people on the street are talking about. They can kind of see what's coming or what's going as far as sound goes. Maybe in some cases, you know, they pay attention to a lot of different things as a fan. You know what I'm saying? Because some artists get to a point where, like you said, Kill, you know, the artist, they're a star, they're a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? Every beat is going to be a masterpiece once they get done with it. Whereas some dudes are more so like, you know, they hear something that somebody did, and it doesn't matter if it's Rakim or Nas or whoever, and they like, damn, why are you rhyming over that whack beat? They're just more in tune with the sound of things and what they want to accomplish. What I wanted to say though is, like, I think with hip hop, you know, we get to the point where, because hip hop is like 45 years old now, happy birthday. But we get to the point where we start looking at rappers the way, you know, maybe some of us did it or the way we're used to it being. But some of these dudes are just straight up artists. You know what I'm saying? We know they're rap artists, but this ain't street shit anymore. So some of them are looking like J. Cole are looking for inspiration to do something different, as opposed to just give me a beat that hip hop heads will go crazy over. They're trying to do something a little bit different. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. But I think Game, Rick Ross, even 50 Cent, they know how to pick beats because they just know what sounds dope. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's the fan in them, you know, maybe it's just the hip hop in them. But I think them other dudes, sometimes they just kind of be in an artist bag and they like don't want to do the same stuff. So they tend to pick, you know, different things.
All right, no doubt. What you think, Porsche?
I think it's like a little bit of what I kind of agree with Vegas. I think they do have like an ear to the street. I also think that they kind of know what worked, like on Game and Ross, like their albums and tracks chart. So I think they look at, you know, what specific tracks charted, what was that beat like, who did I use as a producer, like what did I, you know, like what samples, what things went in, what instrumentals went into that, and they sort of keep it the same but then change it up a little bit so that it doesn't, it, like, to me, Rick Ross's music all sounds the same. I don't know if everybody agrees with that or if they're wildly different. Like, I think he stays within this, like, this sort of, I don't want to say box because I don't like to box in artists.
You say a comfort zone? He stays in his comfort zone.
Yeah, he stays in a comfort zone that he knows what works. He knows what he can feel comfortable rapping over. He knows that he can make whatever sound good, so he stays within that. And I'd like to think that the artists who do pick really great beats kind of know that. They know what they're good at and what they can sort of feed off of. So that's what I think it is.
All right, no doubt. What about you, Nick?
I feel like they just give the fans what they want. Like a guy like Rick Ross, it's more business than artistry with his project. So he know what his fans want to hear from him. So he's like, that's what I'm gonna do. Now Nas could have easily done it. All right, my fans like Illmatic. Just let me keep working with the same niggas and just giving y'all the same album over and over. Nas could have did that, but I feel like Nas. I want to find an interview because I heard him say that he chooses beats that other people kind of look over because he wants people to focus on his rhymes. That's the most important thing to him, is the vocals. So I feel like the production is kind of secondary to him. And I don't necessarily think it's like, we might not like it, but Nas, like, he's not in the studio like, that beat trash, give me that. He like what he rapping over. It just doesn't work for the fans that keep wanting Illmatic over and over. And then with Rick Ross, the same people that's like, yo, if Nas had his ear for beats, Rick Ross, if you listen to his album, he has two lanes. He got like the lush, mafia music sound he do, but the yacht rap what I call it. Then he got the trap music, because he got the trap beats too. And I'm sure Nas fans don't want to hear Nas over those beats.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I just think they give the fans what they want. Whereas Nas always looking for some type of challenge and to do something different. Because I'm sure he gets tired of hearing about Illmatic all the time. I mean, I'm sure he loves the album, but I'm sure he gets tired of hearing that all the time.
Now, let me ask you this, and Ed, I'm going to get to you, but I want to get on this real quick. One of the things that Nas said that offended the shit out of me and started a whole bunch of shit, when the nigga was like, when he did Locomotive, and he was like, for my trapped in the 90s niggas. You know?
Offended you,
and, yeah, offended the shit.
I laughed.
Now everybody, because now it was mad niggas like, yeah, y'all are trapped in the 90s niggas. And I'm like, look, my nigga, if me wanting you to make dope ass shit means I'm trapped in the 90s, then so the fuck be it. Because that's all I'm asking you to do. And I'm always giving Outkast as an example. Outkast albums never sound the same, but they make dope shit. That's all I'm asking you to do. See, these rappers, they try to trick motherfuckers. Like, they on
Okay, but on Outkast, did you like Stankonia?
I love Stankonia. I like
Speak About the Love Below.
I like Speak About the Love Below. I didn't like really Idlewild. There's stuff on Idlewild, but I didn't like.
You rare though, because a lot of people don't like Stankonia or Speak About Love Below.
Very true.
But here's the thing. But with the and I bring these up because we have to talk about album sales, because if you in the record industry, your job is to sell fucking records. Mm-hmm. So the thing is the thing I say about Outkast is they always go double, triple platinum, and maybe they lose fans, but they gain fans.
Gain some, no doubt.
But what I'm saying is, for me, I don't mind you wanting to try something new if it's dope. You see what I mean? So I don't need Nas to be in the studio with Premier. In fact, I don't want him in the studio with Premier. You know, the stuff he did on Life is Good with No ID was dope to me. So it's not like it's a trapped in the 90s, like, oh, I just want you to make Illmatic Part 23. I just want you to make dope shit. That's all.
But another thing on that, Outkast is from Atlanta, so they don't have that pressure of coming from the 5 boroughs on them.
But even without the pressure, like I said, Nas can make a They Shoot. And we happy with, right? We happy with that. We're happy with Locomotive. We happy with Daughters. You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm not asking Jay to stay in this box and Jay-Z just keep making Reasonable Doubt over and over and over. But Jay knows he can make that shit. That's the auto-tune. He knows that's what the fuck we want. You know, Fab does a great job of it. What are them mixtapes he does, Vague, that Fab does every year?
The Soul Tape or something like that?
Yeah, the Soul Tape.
Yeah.
Niggas know what the fuck we want. That's why I like with Fab. That's why I fuck with Fab.
He ain't gonna make that an official Def Jam release though.
No, but that's cool, because I get it. You gotta sell records. I understand that. But that's what I mean by these niggas don't try to trick me and be like, oh, you don't rock with me and you ain't a real fan, my nigga.
So if Nas did
make music for.
If Nas put out like mixtape between the albums that kind of fed his diehard fans, would that be cool?
I'm good with that. I'd be happy if Jay did that, because I think Fab has that, and that's why I think everybody loves Fab. To me, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who doesn't like Fab. Street niggas still fuck with Fab. The radio still fuck with Fab. He can still do his songs with Ty Dolla $ign. He can still because he's making sure everybody's fed. And it's not like everybody's fed is, oh, I'm gonna give you Death of Auto-Tune and then the rest of the album gonna sound like on to the next. You know, no, I'm feeding. You know what I mean? So I'm always that trapped in the 90s. I'm like, I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe, my nigga.
So that actually got to somebody. You the first person that said that. I laughed when I heard it.
Nah, because I'm like, I'm offended, because don't try to trick me into believing that half this shit you've done is on this level. That's all I'm asking you to do. Locomotive is a perfect example. Crazy beat, Nas going to fucking. That's all I want. And if that's the only time that you could make music like that is for your trapped in the 90s niggas, then nigga make some old whack shit then. Go join the radio, because here's the problem. Nas is never going to have the appeal of a Jay-Z. He's not. So make up your mind, my nigga, because really you need to be trapped in the 90s. You'd be making more money if you was trapped in the 90s along with my ass. So I'm not falling for the banana tailpipe. What's up, Vag?
You can't say making more money, because he's making a lot of money.
No. I'm not saying he's not making a lot of money. I'm talking about as far as as a Jay, like when Quest tells the story of at the Source Awards in '95 when Nas thought he was going to win for Lyricist of the Year, and when Biggie and Quest is like, you could see him slump in his chair and you could kind of see like he's deflated. I'm just saying that Nas is never going to be able to be, in my opinion, a Jay-Z type of MC where Jay-Z has club bangers, certified, big
club,
has songs that are club bangers. I don't ever see Nas outside of Woods that Hate Me Now, like something being a club banger. To me, that's not his lane. Now, if he has good investments and money doing other things, salute to the brother, but he's not that club banger type dude. It's the same thing. After Big died, everybody was trying to follow that formula. That's why we had that second J album that's like half and half. Like, like, okay, well, how do I do this? Do I get with Blackstreet? Okay, let's try that. That didn't work. Okay, do I get with Foxy and Babyface? Okay, that didn't work. And I think it was like he said something, or Jermaine Dupri said something like that Jay didn't really get his footing in there until he did that Money Ain't a Thing. And then after Money Ain't a Thing, then he kind of was like, okay, now I know how to make this. Nas, to me, with Uchiwali, Nas has his Owe Me bag. He was trying to get his footing, but I don't think he ever really got into the joint like that. You know what I mean? So no, it's not about money. I was just saying as far as him being able to be a dude like Jay. I don't know if you can go to a club, a straight up and down club, and hear a Nas set for no more than 30 minutes before niggas is gonna get bored. And I'm not talking about a hip hop club. I'm talking
I know, club with the ladies dancing. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, yeah, because I was in the club when Hate Me Now was out, and it was getting a lot of burn. And same thing with You Owe Me.
Exactly.
Uchiwali. Like, I was in there, and that shit was right there with everything else. That was, that was the club bangers. But I agree, that's not his bag, and he know that's not his bag.
Right.
That's not what he does. But I think in general, we'll get into that. I just think his thought process is different. I think Nick touched on it.
All right, no doubt. Ed, real quick, Ross and Game, why do you think they're able to pick good beats?
I think Ross, I think he's really quality control. He's he's pretty much an A&R, right? Like he finds talent in other artists as well. So I think he got a good ear for that. He knows what sounds good. He has a vision. I think Nas, maybe with his pen, he could picture things, but I don't think he gets the full visual with the beat and all. I think Nas is strictly about his pen. I think when Rick Ross writes a song, I think he hears the music behind it as well.
Right, right.
I don't know. I don't know if that's his process, but that's what I imagine, because it matches well. The feel of his song with his lyrics, his emotion, it all goes together well. Game, yeah. I mean, I think Game just knows what he sounds good over. And he was about that whole Bring the West Back thing. So, and he also sounds good over some East Coast type beats too.
Yeah, and I think another thing with Ross is like everybody has said that he knows his lane, but I know also fucking with them Justice League niggas, like he kind of had that in-house production team that they fit together perfectly. You know what I mean? And maybe the question is, why hasn't Nas found an in-house production team? Why hasn't Freeway? Why the MCs that we named? Why haven't they found an in-house producer who can, that knows how to because when we think about the days when, like I said, with Joe Buttons, with the Rage Against the Machines, okay, you've got an A-Rap music that, just is like, yo, this is what we're going with. So it's like two people together trying to kind of, if you look at like a marriage, like you got the man and wife, and we trying to get this kid the right way. You know what I mean? Whereas like, I feel like with some of these people who don't have that in-house producer, they like the single mother out there trying to do it on their own, or the single father out there trying to do it on their own. Not saying you can't do it on your own, but I know a lot of single mothers, a lot of single fathers, they wish they had some help. You know what I mean? Which we can go into my whole take on the exact.
Before you do that, Nas did have. He had 3 projects with the Trap Masters. One was successful and dope, which was written. They had the Firm album, which was successful commercially, wasn't that dope. And I Am was the Trap Masters.
Now, when you say the Trap Masters, because I checked out a Nas after it was written for a while, the Trap Masters produced those albums, or they? Yeah. Okay,
yeah, so it was like their production team. It was like Poke and Tone. It was another cat. They had like other cats.
I know they had the boy Kawan from the Youngsters. He was part of their
for a while. Yeah. So they had like it was about 5 of them.
All right.
Yeah, but I am had a lot of outside production too. Right, so he had the Premiere beats. He had Timberland on there, right?
Yeah, Havoc.
Yeah. Was Havoc on IM?
No, I was thinking about it. My bad.
Yeah.
He should have been on IM.
Yeah.
He's
But he had
should have
some
been on there.
Yeah, he definitely should have. He should have.
Could have murder music.
But I think Nas wasn't thinking of it from a business standpoint like some of these other artists do.
All right.
I think he's strictly MC. You know, I just want to write in my notebook, get in the booth. I don't want to worry about all this other stuff.
All right, cool. Let's do this. So, Veg, since you got the Queensbridge Connect, please drop some jewels on us to help me understand Nas's beat picking process.
All right, so my knowledge is coming from one particular experience that honestly I didn't expect going in. I knew other artists did this, but I didn't expect it going in. But it was more of a committee that was picking beats, so that's kind of like I'm the MC and Kill and Nick hear the beats before I hear them, and they kind of parse out what they think will work, and then it gets to me, and then I kind of pick from that. Because I had a situation where there was a producer I knew who, wanted to get on, and he, I told him I could get his beats to Nas if he wanted, and I went through the proper channels or whatever just to get to him and send the beats, but it was like I had to go to the manager. So as far as the beats go, the manager had to hear it. Jungle and Wiz listened to him, and then Nasir listened to him. So it was kind of like I figured, oh well, that's his beat picking process. Like, I'm sure he gets a ton of beats. Mm-hmm. As an MC, when Kill sends me 200 beats, I take about 2 days before I even listen to any of it, because it's 200 beats. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to miss a joint that I could really fuck with because I'm going through so many beats. You know what I'm saying? And you have people you trust who know you, who know your taste, who can say, yo, this one. You know what I'm saying? And you would know. I have friends who, if I was on like that, I could easily have them pick beats, or at least screen beats. Let me not say pick them, but screen beats for me, because they know exactly what I like. You know what I'm saying? And they know exactly what I want for particular projects because they have that vision. So with him, I think that's what he does. So whether it's Steve Stout playing a role in that or someone else, I think after a while, he's kind of always been on this committee thing. Sure, he's an MC that, just wants to write at the end of the day, but he also is an MC who doesn't want to go through picking a bunch of beats, and he just wants the best to come to him, and then he decides on what he really wants to use and bouncing off of people. Because you got to think about the fact that, writing rhymes is not easy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Writing songs is not easy. And when that's your job and that's your livelihood, that's what pays your bills, that's what keeps you looking fresh so people don't see you in public like, oh, this nigga fell off. It's different, you know what I'm saying? And then Nas also, like Kill mentioned, he kind of doesn't just want to be in that box of Illmatic only. Like, do Illmatic and that's that. So he wants to do different things like distant relatives. You get another call, fam?
Yo, and the wild part to me is that it always goes to Nick. You know,
Yeah.
like that's the resident secretary of Apartment 5B. Like, if you want to get in touch with Kill, you know what? There you go, Vegas. Beats by get on by committee. Like, you gotta go to Nick.
Yeah, you got, if you want to get on,
the podcast, you gotta hit Nick.
Hit Nick up first.
Nick will screen it. And then be like, Kill, he'll hit me on the text like, yo, some nigga want to get on. Is that cool with your man? All right, bet. Then we put him on.
Hey, Vegas. So, all I want to know is who let that Chris Webber beat get through, man?
Oh, the blunt ashes.
Yeah, that blunt. Oh my God.
You want to know? You want to know who let that Chris Webber beat get through? The nigga who wanted some fucking tickets to the Sacramento game. Or trust me, best believe anybody's trying to get on with an NBA player because they got that money that they could just be like, yo, man, nigga, here, take this $1 million, go do your thing, man. I'll see you whenever. So that's how that Chris Webber beat got on. Trust me. I'd be on if my name was fucking Bradley Bill. Okay, I think
that was a favor, man.
Yeah,
I think that was just. This is my man. He making beats. We hang out all the time. He give me free weed.
Right.
Never got that weed.
Let me throw one of his joints on the album.
Yeah, he probably like, I get you placement on the album. Man.
Yeah.
You ain't seen Chris Webber produce shit else. So,
right.
I know that shit was the hookup.
Yo, the funny thing is, bro, is I'm actually shocked because I wasn't, when you said that, when you hit me like, yo, I got some insight on Nas, like that was the last thing like I was thinking what happened. Because I'm just wondering, like, because Vague, for people who don't know, me and Vague got 3 albums out working on our 4th. And the thing I love about Vague is Vague makes me work the hardest out of any and everybody I work with. You know what I mean? Vague makes me work the hardest on the beats, on the motherfucking album covers. Anybody else I do the album cover, they be like, that's it. Vague, like, yeah, nah, let's try again. Like, let's try again. And I love it because it pushes me. But Vague, what do you think it is about you being able to pick? Why do you think you can pick dope beats? Because I'm going into some stories about some MCs I've worked with who, and again, and what I want to get throughout this entire show, like I said, when I say hand holding, is no disrespect. I mean, no disrespect. MCs who can't pick beats, I don't think that's disrespectful. And let me just put it out there that I'm not saying it in a disrespectful way, because I think to be able to pick beats, you have to be able to see the long ball. You got to be able to see the whole screen, and not everybody can do that. That's not a gift that everybody has. So again, I don't want anybody to get offended, like, you know, no, it's not that. Just everybody can't see the big picture. So Veg, what do you think it is about you, why you can kind of pick the right beats for our projects? Why are you not just whatever 12 beats I send you, like, yeah, bet we running with them 12, kill, like what? And the other thing about you, Veg, is when you were talking about people wanting to stay in a box, I wrote that down because I have a folder of beats called 3000, and these are my fucking out the box, boom, they're not boom bap whatsoever. And Vegas picked a couple of those beats that I was shocked that you picked. So what is it about? What is your beat picking process?
I think for me, like when I was younger and I would pick beats, like I used to just write rhymes, so I would look for beats that fit my rhymes, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, nah, it's not gonna sound, this is not what I envisioned when I wrote it as far as the beat. Later on, when I would just pick beats in advance of writing a rhyme, it was more so about the feeling, you know what I'm saying? Like what is this giving me? Like Kill might name some shit, you know, fucking Lollipop. I turn that shit into a robbery on Gates Avenue in Brooklyn somewhere, because I'm thinking like, how will fans react to it? Like they'll hear the beat, they expect one thing coming, and then I give them something else. Like for example, the joint we just did featuring Woods and Driz Low. You know, I heard that beat when Kill did it on Instagram. We turned it into a wrestling beat. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure when Kill was making that shit, he wasn't thinking about wrestling. You know what I'm saying? But it's kind of like the energy of the track is what drives me to write in certain ways. And I can hear a dope record. Now, sometimes I can hear a dope record, but maybe it ain't for me. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I got to pass on shit I really like because I don't think I could bring the best out of it. Like the Dice Game joint. That beat I heard a long time ago where I could have rapped over the shit, but I felt like it needed a different MC than me because I'm going to rap about what I rap about. It needed who was on it. You know what I'm saying? It needed the projects and that whole feel of the Dice Game or whatever. So a lot of times when I pick beats, is really part of it is artistry, and another part of it is just the feeling and the mood that it gives me, and then I write to that. And I think that's kind of what Game and Rick Ross do also. I think they hear beats and they start, and you know, Rick Ross start thinking about fucking lobster and shrimp because DMX said he only rhyme about food and shit. He said he not ill because he just rap about eating. But you know, I think Rick Ross hear beats and just start thinking of that yacht music, and You know, then he started writing to it. So it's a feeling for some rappers.
Right. The thing is, the one beat that you picked that really blew my mind, the one you and Cal Spence did on our sophomore joint, because that was straight 3,000. That was like when you called me like, yo, I want this. I was like, and I'm gonna get the boy Kel on it. I'm like, on this shit, like, what? You know, so,
that shit was hot, Kill. That's the thing. That shit was hot, bro.
Yeah, but good looking. Let me go into this. Executive producers. Now, for some people who may not know what an executive producer is, it's changed throughout the years. The definition has changed numerous times. The executive producer in R&B is different than hip hop. But for the most part, usually in hip hop, an executive producer is somebody who's helping you put the album together. Somebody who's helping you pick beats. Somebody who's helping you put everything together. And in my belief, I look at the executive producer as a Tim Grover. For people who don't know, Tim Grover was Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade's trainer for years. You know, people may not know Brandon Payne. That's Steph Curry's trainer and his shooting coach. And what I think about the executive producer is that sometimes you need help to take your game to the next level. You know what I mean? Like Michael Jordan, all these people I named, Kobe Bryant, Dwayne Wade, all these people, Steph Curry, greatest shooter ever. They still need somebody to kind of help them continue to push them to get better. And I think that's kind of what the executive producer used to do in hip hop. You know, I always say, to me, if RZA was the executive producer. To me, if there's no RZA, Wu-Tang is just 8 niggas rhyming over 12 beats. Like, it's gonna be 8 niggas, just as overcrowded. Everybody wants to rhyme, but I felt like RZA was the one like, nah, like Ghost and Ray, you got some magic. And yo, Beth, you just do the chorus over here. And No Dirty, you do. He was the coach. You know, because I really feel like if you take RZA out of that, and I think, Vague, you made a great point. To me, that was the problem with Slaughterhouse. Mm-hmm. Like, Slaughterhouse was just, we gonna jump on all four of us. Like, an average Slaughterhouse song was like
5-minute song.
Yeah, it was like long ass songs. It's like, I'm listening like, no, like, this is the joint where, like, let Joe and Joel get on this. And let Royce just do the chorus. And then on this one, let Crooked do a song where, like, Royce had a song, something like it was like a Twilight Zone shit type story. And I was like, yo, that would have been dope if each one of them tried to connect the song throughout the album. But without that executive producer, it was just like these 4 lyrical monsters just all wanting to get on the same track, and it just didn't work, you know. And I think that that's been such a huge piece that excuse me, kind of messed up hip hop. Because I think what happened is MCs will look at their budget and be like, look at this executive producer budget line item, like, yo, why am I paying this nigga $100,000 to pick my beats? Like, nah, fuck that. I'm pocketing that. I'll pick my own beats. You know what I mean? And this is hip hop. Now we got a lot of bunch of niggas who don't know how to pick beats, picking their own beats to save $100,000. And like I said to my man the other day, imagine if Michael Jordan said, nah, I don't need Tim Grover, yo, I'm gonna just save some money over here. We still get the same Michael Jordan. You know, if Steph Curry says, nah, I'm gonna save some money, I'm not trying to pay this shooting coach X amount of dollars. So and Ed brought up a great point too. I can't remember if it was on camera or off, but when sampling clearance came into play, that played a big role too, because then people wanted to save even more money because we spending all these money on fucking samples. So
when they started hitting you over the head, they're like, yo, I want 50% of the publishing. Like, fuck that.
But
that's why we get money cash holes.
Yo, but here's the part. But you also, and I think Ed said it, you get what you pay for. You know what I mean? Like, you had people who, other athletes was like, yo, I want Tim Grover. Kobe like, who Michael fuck with? That's who I fuck with. Wade like, who Kobe fuck with? Well, that's who I fuck with. Same thing back in the day. Niggas seen Pete Rock with an SP1200. I'm getting an SP1200. You know, you can't, certain things you can't be cheap on. So like, if you don't want to pay the sampling clearance, then you may want to hire a band, but you can't just get your man like me who don't know how to play no instruments to try to get on, because you're going to get whack beats. You know what I mean? Like, you can go to Howard University and grab 4 niggas in their band and be like, yo, we gonna rock together, you know what I mean, and put out this original music. But you can't be cheap. And I felt like that's what a lot of MCs tried to do. They tried to be cheap and just X out the executive producer, and you kind of end up with what you get. But Nick, I saw you shaking your head with Wu-Tang and Slaughterhouse. Do you think Wu would have been different if RZA wasn't there calling the plays?
Oh no, without a doubt, they would have been different. Because I remember when I think Souls of Mischief might have been the first group where it's like 4 MCs and they weren't always all on the same track. Like, they would split a verse. You know, it'd be like 2 of them sharing a verse. And I was like, that's kind of dope. I ain't never seen cats do that. because like you said, like Slaughterhouse, everybody want their own verse. It's gonna be long as hell, so every song 5 minutes. And no, I think that was the great thing about Wu-Tang, because every member, every song wasn't Protect Your Neck.
Right. The other thing too with the executive producer, and Nick, we still gotta do a show on this. Puff. I know we all hate Puff, but to me, Biggie is not big without
Puff. No, without a doubt.
You know what I mean? Like, if it was up to Big, that nigga would have been, Premier would have done the whole first album. And it would have been a historic, it would have been how we look at J. Rue and Group Home, but he's not the Big who's fucking hanging up in people's dining rooms. Like,
Exactly.
Pot, Big, and Jesus. Like, he's not that big. He's not that big, you know, he's like J. Rue. So you needed that coach to call the plays to be able to say that. But once you saw how much that coach wanted, it was like, nah, we gotta get this nigga up out of here. Babe, what do you think about the executive producer?
Well, I got one example that I found out in recent years that kind of ties back to what you asked me earlier about Nas picking beats. But the making of Ether, like Steve Stout told that story. The Ether we got wasn't the Ether he heard before he put his input in. Mm-hmm. He thought this record they made was whack. He thought the beat was whack. He thought Nas wasn't hitting on a lot of points. So he gave a lot of pointers in that regard as far as lyrically. And he also gave a lot of pointers as far as the beat, because I think he went and got what's the dude, Ether Boy, whatever his name is.
I forgot. I know you're talking about.
I forgot his real name and shit. But,
hold up, the nigga who made Ether, niggas call him Ether Boy?
Well, he used to like tag his songs like that.
Yeah, that was like a early, but he has a name though, like a
he has a name.
I hope his name ain't produced by Ether Boy, but okay.
He was saying it all the time after that. Because shit, that's what made him famous, basically. The thing is like, you know, Steve Stout came in and made it the record we know today. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to imagine that especially the lyrics and all the disses didn't come straight from Nas exclusively. And that's kind of what happens, you know what I'm saying? Because you would think, yeah, a lot of people, you know, like me, I would have a lot of ammo for this battle, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm a rapper and I'm one of the best. But that's not the case, you know, when you are a recording artist who happens to rap and you trying to balance what shit you should say, what shit you shouldn't say, because maybe it'll fuck up business in the long run. You know what I'm saying? So it all kind of played in, but Steve Stout had the vision to be like, nah, this is not one of those occasions.
Yo, let's talk. I
need to say everything that the streets was already saying about Jay-Z. So when
that's crazy. I never knew that story. I never had heard anything about
what's that on? He did that on, I don't know if that was with the Radar podcast. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it was one of them joints, and I was like, word? Like I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? I assumed, you know, like Jungle and them was like, yeah, the nigga went from hanging the big to herb to I figured somebody was feeding him some intel, but I didn't think, you know, Steve Stout would come in and say, nah, don't release this, do this, and that. So I agree, you know, the executive producer is important because they stand outside of what you're writing, outside of your crew. And Puff, like you mentioned, had that balance. He had that balance to know Biggie don't need to be rhyming like give me the loot anymore. You know what I'm saying? So he switched up his style and never went back. And that was off the recommendation of Puff. So like you said, man, executive producer, you need him. You need that person. You need a good executive producer to say what you shouldn't and shouldn't do, because then we wouldn't have the Nasir album.
Right. Well, and even with the joint, like you were saying with Jungle, I always don't know if your man or your brother need to be the beat selector. You know what I mean? I know Jungle need a job, but you know, it's kind of like with Iverson. Like Iverson, just you know, your man don't need to be the accountant. Like he can have a job, but I don't know if your man who dropped down to 8th grade need to be taking care of your money. So we just sometimes gotta do a better job of making sure.
Well, look, Jungle was Nori's manager on that first album.
Yeah,
and if
it sure was.
Nori album that's dope, it's that one.
But
so maybe he like, well, Jungle know what he doing.
But here's the thing, he's the manager, but that really don't got nothing to do with the music though.
Well, he was. I'm getting part of that as well. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's a part of that. Like I said, I got friends that I know they know me, so I would let them stream my beats, and I got other friends that'll be like, "Nah, nigga, I don't care what the fuck you heard. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what you heard on that track. Fuck out of here. I want no intel from you." So it depends on who your friends are. You know what I'm saying?
I got a question for Vegas, man, because it was something that I had heard about. Basically, if you got an MC or someone in the studio and they intoxicated or they're a little lit, they're high and whatnot, the beats are not going to sound the same to them as if they were, sober, whatever. So, you may have a dope beat that they pass on because they're high or they're drunk and they're like, nah, that ain't it. Or they might be hyping up the worst beat because to them in the moment, it sounds all right. This shit is hype.
Well, I think, like, for me, I was never one of those dudes like, yo, let me smoke first and let me drink first. But there's some people who that's when they pick their hottest shit. That's when they write their hottest shit. That's when they give their best performance. The whole Death Row run was on
drugged out. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Ray was making beats, smoking chronic for the first time. So you can't say, that because they choose to do that, they're gonna miss out on white beats. For some people, it enhances it. For others, it doesn't. Like Tupac ain't do none of that shit. He just went in there and just recklessly just made song after song. So Tupac ain't give a fuck about what the beats were. If you ever saw that documentary where he was getting mad at dudes for bullshit in the studio, he was like, nigga, the hook is whatever that nigga said in his verse. I'm like, really? Like, damn, you gonna have a real concept? You just go ahead and pluck it out. So everybody has a different, way they do things.
And here's the funny thing, Ed. I got, from being in the studio with so many people, I've got so many stories, and it always comes back to me that some MCs can't see the big picture. This cat came through my crib once in Philly. I played him a beat. He said, yeah, fuck with it. I said, all right, come back tomorrow. I'll make something else. Second MC comes through. Here's that same beat, loves it. We record to it, make it a complete song. Next day, the first MC comes back over. I'm like, yo, let me let you hear something. Play him the song. Nigga like, yo, why the fuck you ain't play me that beat? And I'm like, my nigga.
That's the beat you said you ain't like.
I played you. Yo, this dude is arguing with me like, motherfucker, you ain't play me that shit, not that right there. And I'm like, my nigga, you passed on it. And what that showed me was that he had to hear the complete song. He didn't see the vision of what he could do to it. Now, when it became a song, then it was like, oh man, that beat is crazy. You know what I mean? Like, another piece, and Vague brought it up earlier, was Dice Game. Dice Game was on one of my Through the Wire beat tapes. And whenever an MC says, yo, Kill, I want to fuck with you, I'd be like, well, go to Through the Wire, see if you hear anything. So nobody ever picked Dice Game. Funny story, Joel Ortiz wanted a Dice Game, but it was something with his manager we could never connect. But nobody ever picked Dice Game. Yo, when Math drops the video for Dice Game, you don't think every fucking MC was like, yo, Kill, give me a Dice Game. And I'm like, again, my nigga, it's been on either you're not listening to the beat CD I sent you to, or again, you can't hear what you could do to it. Like, shit was starting to piss me off. Like, I get it as producers and mad niggas would be like, yo, Kill, give me another Dice Game. Like, so I can understand how producers get pissed off when niggas be like, yo, give me another grind. Like, niggas going to Pharrell, like, give me a grind. Or every time a song is a hit or people like it, like, yo, give me a Come Clean. And it's like, is that, and then two, I just think, like we've all said today, that to some extent, picking beats is an art. You know what I mean? And it's not an art that everybody can do well. Just because you are a lyrical genius does not mean that you know. But I think it's one of those things where you have to kind of know your own downfall, because those are the MCs who need a good executive producer. Those are the MCs, like Vague said, that needs one of your homeboys to be like, all right, yo, you pick the beats for me. You know what I mean? Or you need to connect with a producer so that you two can just grow like that. But Vague, have you ever seen or heard any voice like that where like MC just can't see the bigger picture?
Yeah, I think some dudes just ain't locked in like that. As some dudes just write raps, like that's it. You know what I'm saying? They just writing raps. There's no rhyme or reason. It's just give me beats and going. And maybe they got one vision and that's it, and that's what they want to hear. And sometimes they can't, they can't hear it in certain tracks when they're going through it. And then some people know what they want. You know what I'm saying? And in some cases, is you know what you want because you already wrote it, or you know what you want because you hear it. And for me, like that's where I am as an MC, where it's like I hear it, I know what to do with it. Let me get it. Then I work on it, and then I could do what I envision. But I think some people, I don't want to say they're not artists. Some niggas is just street corner rappers. You know what I'm saying? And some dudes are artists. Some dudes do it because like Sight for example. Like, I did a song with him that's it ain't out yet, but like when you hear my verse, this is where I was going, like, yeah, so you do this and you do that. And then I heard his, I'm like, damn, this nigga got me thinking about life. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't come back to him like, yeah, I'll write another one, nigga. You getting all serious and shit. I'm like, nah, that's why I wanted you. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that you're going to hear the beat for what you hear it for. And he still stayed in the pocket of the concept, but he brought another element to the song. Right. Which I appreciated, you know what I'm saying? So it's different for different rappers.
And the funny thing is too is that a lot of rappers, like I play rappers some smooth, laid back shit, and they want to kill a nigga over it. And I'm like, bruh, these this don't fit together right here. Like you can't kill nobody over this, bruh. Like this is like hearing like Mobb Deep over Bonita Applebum, like talking about shooting up Queensbridge. Like this is not a good fit. But I think, like you said, for some MCs, they just like, yo, throw on whatever. I'm killing whatever. You know what I mean? I don't give a fuck what you throw me on. Let's just do it. And like you said, they're not thinking about making songs. Or how you hear from almost every MC. Most of them will always tell you, like, somebody had to teach them how to make a 16. How you can't just rhyme for, 90 minutes. Like, you need somebody to say, you got a lot of MCs who can't do hooks. I think the Roots are fucking horrible at their hooks. Like, their hooks are just the fucking... They let
Dice Raw do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like they let Dice, like, come on, Dice Raw is that. I'm like, yo, who is Dice Raw blackmailing? Who keeps getting these hooks for these niggas? So it's a huge process. I'm gonna go into this real quick. Here's the thing that I don't understand: why there are any albums with any whack beats. In 2018, Rakim could get on Twitter, like Vague, you just said Rakim. I think Porsha named Rakim, Nick named Rakim. This last album was horrible. Rakim could get on Twitter and say, you know what, y'all? I don't got no money. I don't got shit. But I need 12 beats. Everybody will get their credit. Everybody will get their ass cap, their BMI. You can put it on your little Twitter resume, produce for Rakim. Boom. And Rakim's inbox would be full in 30 seconds, full of niggas' hottest beats. Like, so to me, there's no excuse on why. Oh, what are you about to say?
The thing with that is, he have a mailbox full of beats, but can he pick beats? Because out of all of those beats, he still might manage to pick the worst ones.
You're right. But what I'm just saying is like this is like most. I don't want to put all that out there. I'll say this: most MCs have that beat where it's like, if I ever meet Jay, I'm getting him this beat. You know what I mean? So I think that for the most part, niggas will be sending Rakim they A shit. They not sending Rakim like them beats they made last night and they really don't like it. They like, yo, this is my chance to get on. So even Rakim being a horrible beat picker, I'm sure these beats that producers like me and other niggas would be sending them would still be so crazy that Rakim would still be able to do. So to this day, I just don't understand, because everybody could do it. Freeway, you could offer money. You could just be like, look, I got a G per beat. That's all I got. You know what I mean? I was talking to Ev the other day. I said, yo, if Rakim was like, yo, Kill, can you do 12 beats for me for free? We'll put it on Bandcamp. We'll split the money. Can I record it at your crib? Can Ev mix and master it? Yo, you can make an album right now for fucking free. So I don't get Dayline, they Kickstarter making $8 million and then coming out with that whack ass album, because you could have made a fucking album in a week that's 100 times better than that shit. And like we said before on the last show, like that was a sticky move. They just wanted some money, because you can make an album right now get it mixed, get it mastered, get it made, get it fucking put on Bandcamp, get the album cover, get video shots, all for free. But
well, Kill, the only problem with that is there's two things. One, the artist has to admit they can't pick beats properly, or they don't have the resources to pick beats properly, and two, it's like a pride thing, right?
You're right.
So I don't know. I don't think there's many people out there, especially like the Rakims of the world, J. Cole, Eminem, like these people are never, I can never see them being like, you know what, maybe I should put it out there on Twitter. It would do them good, but I don't think they'll ever do it.
But
M and J. Cole wouldn't do that because they still
right.
Him as somebody who ain't
But here's the wild
he could
part.
benefit from that.
And I agree with you 100%. But here's the way you could freak it. There's ways to freak it, and I'm really not that fucking smart. So I know they had to have thought about this.
But one more thing before you go into that, like your shit is tight. Trust me, I come across a lot of beats. Niggas think they tight and it ain't tight. So they be like, yo, if I got this beat for Rakim, that shit's still trash. So he gonna get 100. He gonna get 100 of those too. So after a while,
you're right.
Some Casio beat.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Exactly, that's the other thing. Is a lot of people. I know a lot of artists that are on Bandcamp who think that their stuff is great, and then you hear it and it's like, really, nothing of this sounds good at all. Like,
you know what? I ain't gonna hold y'all. Y'all 100% right. Because I've even said to myself, yo, you need to fucking have to go through some filters before you can call yourself a singer. Like, I be looking at people like, oh, this Shorty sing. Let me check out her stuff. It's like, yo, it's horrible. Like, man, like, we need a Twitter process before you can put you are a fill in the blank, whatever. But Porsha, great point. I'm thinking you could even freak it like this. You could be like, look, I'm Rakim. At this point in my life, I want to give opportunities to other people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You can flip it. And you don't have to put out on Twitter all your business. You can wait till the DMs and connection comes and say, well, look, right now I don't have a label backing me and woo, whatever. The thing that I do like about DistroKid, that this new thing that they have out, I don't know how new it is. My man put me onto it. But they have it where you can, when you're uploading an album and it'll upload it to everywhere, iTunes, all that shit, that you can have a percentage go to whoever. You know what I mean? So you don't even have to split up the money. You don't even have to touch it. So if Vague did an album, he could say, okay, Nick gets 10% and Eddie gets 10%. Like, so you could even break down the percentages. But I do still think that you're right, Nick, that a lot of people, a lot of whack beats would still make it through. So somehow, some way, we just got to get dope executive producers back in the loop to be able, you're right. Because to me, that's hurtful that, like you said, KRS got like 30 albums out and like 20 of them are horrible. You know what I mean? Or what's up, Vay?
One thing to the point of Rakim, he did a interview not too long ago. I forget what show it was on, but he was talking about the process for him in writing a record, and he's kind of like Nas in that sense where he's like, to me, they kind of overthink it. You know what I'm saying? As far as what they're going to create. So I don't think for him is that beat crazy. You know what I'm saying? Is this like hip hop enough? I think for him, he's really only focused on the song he's making, and the beat is just like the anchor or to assist that message he's trying to give off. So sometimes it's whack. Sometimes we like, yo, yeah, that shit you did for me is dope. Do that. But I don't think that's how he approaches his music. He approaches it based off his lyrics, and he feels like the beat is suitable enough for his message. He don't give a shit what we think, and it's sad because that's the reason why he doing shows in small ass clubs and shit when he should be rocking out stadiums or at least opening up somebody. You know what I'm saying? Somebody who's bigger. Well, yeah, that was one thing I saw about Rakim, and I was like, well, yeah, then no wonder his beats is whack. He don't give a fuck about beats, like so.
And it's something that didn't push. I think you tweeted this, that Nas said something on the new album where he said something about, I don't care about the beat, I care about the rhyme. Like, y'all don't buy it. Buy it for the rhyme or something.
Yeah, that's my favorite quote of that whole album, actually. But yeah,
he did say that. I remember Salaam Remy was on Vlad, and he said, because Vlad always put that out there about Nas being the worst, and he was like, Nas hear it, but he don't give a fuck what you think, what I think. You know what I'm saying? He picked what he want to fit his concept. So like I said, we like sometimes we don't like it. I think I might like more Nas projects than you though. We can talk about that off camera. See where we at with that. But yeah, I think Nas he liked what he picked.
I don't even think Nas is as bad as everybody says he is. I think that Nas picking bad beats is one of those things. The Illmatic 5 mics, like the source kind of gave Illmatic 5 mics. Everybody ran with that and deemed it this, end all and be all of hip hop. When it's not. I mean, it is a classic and it is a 5 mic, but it's not the end all and be all. And it's the same thing with Nas picking beats. It's hit and miss, just like Jay-Z is, just like Common is. Like a lot of them are hit and miss. I don't think Nas, like Illmatic was great. It Was Written was great. I loved Stillmatic. He's hit and miss at best. Like I don't think he's as bad as everyone says he is. I think one entity claimed that and everyone was sort of like, yeah, he is whack. Yeah, he is whack. And then everyone just now, he's like branded as being a whack beat picker, and he's not that bad actually.
Yeah, and see, I think for me, like with Nas, I like It Was Written, Illmatic, of course, and then we got to jump all the way to Stillmatic for me.
Yeah, same with me.
I wasn't a big fan of Godson, so if we do that, so how many albums is in between It Was Written and Stillmatic?
Three, if you count The Firm.
Three.
So we agree on that. Those three were disappointments. The Firm,
The Firm wasn't a disappointment though. The Firm was. I mean, it depends how you look at The Firm, because The Firm was a Firm was a concept album, so it also like it's gonna be a one-off of what Nas was actually going for, anyways. Like I think The Firm should be not considered in Nas's catalog just because it was a different concept altogether. But
I only think it was a one-off because it didn't. You know what I'm saying? It didn't go with the fans the way it was supposed to. Because if the fans loved it, we would have got another Firm project.
I think too. So we'll take the Firm out. I never even heard the album. I heard Firm Biz and I said, "Fuck this shit."
Well, you listened to the most mainstream one.
You robbing over Square Biz. I already said this shit. So skip on over the good old Firm.
So yeah, we got I Am.
You got I Am.
Nostradamus. So those are the two between It Was Written and Stillmatic.
What came after Stillmatic?
Godson, which I like. I know you.
I like that too. I like
that. Godson was dope.
Streets Disciple, double disc. So I love disc 1. Mm-hmm. I don't care for disc 2. Like 3 songs on disc 2.
Then Nigga came, right?
Nah, I think Hip Hop Is Dead.
Hip Hop Is
Dead. Yeah. He had the joint with Damian Marley.
Well, hold on.
I like that one.
Before we get to Damian, after Hip Hop Is Dead, then there was the album, right?
The Nigga album, yeah.
Okay. So we got
the Distant Relatives, Life Is Good. So I like those two.
So we got Life Is Good. So we got Godson, Streets Disciple, Hip Hop Is Dead, and Nigga. I ain't like none of them shits. So we can knock them 4 right out the back. So I'm knocking 4 out, and then I'm knocking I Am and Nostradamus out the box. So I'm looking at Nas for It Was Written,
Stillmatic,
and Life Is Good. So I'm looking at this nigga for 4 albums out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That nigga has failed the test.
He's just, I mean,
he has failed. I'm just, because everything comes back to schoolwork with me with my kids, so everything is like average.
But if you go through Jay-Z's. If you go through Jay-Z's catalog, it's the same thing.
I don't think Jay picks great beats either.
All of these albums that Kanye just released this year, they're all trash too. So like,
no, that's Tiana Taylor.
That Pusha T. That Pusha T is crazy.
Pusha
T was good. No, you're right. I wouldn't say they're all trash. Pusha T's was great. Daytona was great. Tiana,
I didn't say it was great. It was great because Pusha as the MC.
Pusha is just one of those few MCs. He can rhyme over anything.
Exactly.
But again, I do think production-wise, out of all those Jay albums, that Daytona had the dopest beats. I do think that. Not saying that means a lot, but to me, that was. I mean, if you know that beat is crazy.
Yeah.
That this number 2 is crazy. The one with Rick Ross, like some of those beats are crazy. But so for me, I like 4 Nas albums out of 10. That's not.
How many Jay albums you like? Just solo joints.
I like Reasonable Doubt. Now keep in mind, when I'm talking albums, I'm talking like a full body of work.
No doubt.
I'm still, final where you had to turn that shit over. So I'm not talking about playlists. So I'm looking at Reasonable Doubt. I'm looking at as a whole, I didn't like that second album because it was half and half. Half of that shit sucked. Half of it was good. I hated Hard Knock Life. So I'm with Reasonable Doubt. I'm with Blueprint. I'm with Black Album. I'm with American Gangsta. And I'm with this. So that's 4. So to me, they're both the same to me.
Exactly. So, but Jay's not considered the wackest beat picker. Only Nas is. So this is, again, some entity decided to say Nas was a whack beat picker and everyone just ran with that. It doesn't, people aren't really...
Here's the thing with Jay, I would say this, and maybe this is bad because I'm not giving Jay a pass. I just think, I think it's like Vegas said. I don't think Nas gives a fuck. I think whereas Jay-Z is trying to be strategic with his beats. You know, I feel like he's always trying to be like, okay. And I think Irv said this once, like Irv Gotti was like, you know, when DMX was jumping, like Jay was always now coming down to the Murder Inc. floor, like trying to like rub shoulders with Swiss, you know, to get with him. Like, you know, like Jay, you know, again, not to big up Outkast, they're the people who, one of the only few people who have always go multi-platinum their own way. And what I mean by that is with Jay-Z, he's going to get a Timbo, he's going to get a Neptune, he's going to get a... Most people need that big name producer at the time to do both sides, you know? So I just always looked at Jay as strategic. I honestly think, well, you know what? Maybe they're both the same. I just think Nas, maybe it's because I had maybe more like invested in Nas, like I like Nas more, or I expected. It's almost like you got 2 fucking kids and one of your kids is more of a fuck up than the other one, you know, like they're both fuck ups, but it's like, nigga, I really thought you was gonna be something. This other nigga I ain't that much from, so I know it's not right, but it's like, yo, my nigga, he really did the youth out in the 8th grade, whereas with you, we thought you was going to Harvard, and now you're fucking working at Home Depot. So maybe that's what it is too with Nas. But yeah, I think Jay's a horrible beat picker too. But
I think there are a lot of artists are just as bad or good, whichever way you want to look at it, as Nas is. And I think Nas just gets everyone gives him a hard time just because Illmatic. I think Illmatic is always going to be his curse, is like blessing and his curse. So
yeah.
I mean, I think it's too, like, again, for me, I don't have a lot of expectations for Freeway. I don't have, like, the other niggas I'm naming on my list. Like, I have no expectations for Cannabis or Joe Butt. Whereas with Nas, I say it both about Nas and Jay, I think both of them have the ability to drop a 5 mic classic every time they drop an album.
Well, it's the same. Like, I just challenge people who are listening or, like, you know, I know everyone's going to blow up the comments when you post this. So I think people should just kind of consider which other artists outside of just Nas and do the statistics like you just did with the albums and the discography. Like, do the math and see if they're all about the same. I can guarantee it. I don't think Nas is any worse than...
I'm one of the few people who actually like Nasir. Like, I honestly sit back, I'm totally shocked. Like that, everybody's like, "Yo, this is the fucking worst Nas album ever." I'm like, "Shit, this is one of my fucking favorite Nas albums."
That is not true.
That's not true.
The thing with Nasir that I don't think it's the beats. Like people who say it's the beats, they copping out because if you go back and listen to Nostradamus, that has whack beats. But if you listen to Nas' rhyming scheme and all that, he's still in the pocket. With Nasir, he's not in the pocket.
Yeah, he's not.
In some cases, he's saying lines that really got no punches. That's uncharacteristic from him on any album. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's what people are kind of missing is like when you listen to it, it's like, damn, this ain't not like, exactly. Yeah, it's like this something ain't right here. So
I'm worried again because now Swiss Beats talking about he got one.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to a whole Swiss Beats Nas album either. That didn't bring no anticipation up either. But Veg, so what do you think happened with this Nasir? Like, why did it? I don't even know why Nas is even in this whole 7-song Kanye thing because he's not on good music. You know,
Kanye thing.
Apparently, it was a dinner in Colorado. I'm just kidding. Sorry, I had to put that in there.
So,
promise to Obama.
I know Kanye said that he promised Obama, and it was like, but. Weird, like, not it's like it came out of nowhere, and Nas like hasn't even spoken on it. And what's shocking is he just performed out here in Maryland, and my man that posted, and he's performing a joint with Puff that I was actually shocked about because I thought he would probably not even want to touch nothing off that album.
There's more people who like it than there are people who don't.
Yeah.
You know, that's the thing. Like I've seen him do shows, and he do that set, and that crowd ain't like, "Yo, nigga, go do Illmatic, nigga." Like, nah, they want to hear that new shit. So there are people who definitely like it, but I think with him, I don't know, because it's kind of like, I don't know, he with this Nasir album, it sound like what my philosophy was. He was taking a long time to release whatever this album was. Kept teasing it. It's almost done. Nas album done. All of that. So much time has passed, and I think they didn't have that one record that was the launch pad for them, because he released, you know, guest appearances here, you know, the Jay Dilla joint there, but it didn't really get people excited. Even when he did the Khaled joint, which was probably the perfect time to release that album, I always felt like this Kanye album, this ain't the album he was working on. And he confirmed that a couple of weeks ago, that he was working on something totally different. So the album that everybody was waiting for, it didn't come out. This was more so probably Kanye like saying, yo, got this new scheme, gonna do 7 tracks every week, person's gonna drop. And it was just more exciting to him than his rollout, because his rollout kept missing. So I guess he figured, you know, I'll just hop on that. But if there's one thing about Nas, which we saw with Nostradamus and I Am, because remember, those albums were whack because of the bootlegging and the fact that he couldn't use a lot of those records that showed up on the Lost Tape. That shit's a classic. You know what I'm saying? Because if he could have released what he did have, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But I think that was the case. You know what I'm saying? I think because
why do you think, like you said, he's not in pocket? Like, you know, why do you think that he would even go into the studio with his pen like that? Like, you know, I mean, I know you don't know, but just what do you think? Like, what do y'all think? Why do you think this dude is so out of pocket and his rhyme schemes, everything is off? Why do you think he would even release that shit?
I think it was all Kanye. Honestly, I think Kanye wanted to keep his rollout schedule. It was rushed. It was rushed.
And you know people gonna check for it anyway, just because of Kanye's attachment.
Right.
So but see, I don't know, because he's not contractually obligated to do that. Like, he didn't have to do that. I think with him, if you look at the track record of when he released his albums, he ain't Jay-Z with the year-to-year joint. Nas is 2 years or better, usually. He cannot write songs quick. That's what happened with Nostradamus and I Am. When they had to dump a bunch of those great records, he had to make a lot of quick records. And you had Nostradamus, and you had a couple of whack records on, except for Undying Love. That's a really slept-on record. That shit.
That's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites on it. Oh
yeah. It's funny. But, you know, look at Rush. Good, and I'm like, damn, that was 2012. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah.
So you're going on 6 years, probably 6 years now, because I think it did come out summer 2012.
Yeah. Well, real quick before we end, what did y'all think about Life Is Good? How many mics did y'all?
I liked it. That's a good 4-mic album to me.
Yep, me too. 4 mics.
All right.
4 mics. It was dope.
Yeah.
4 mics.
Beg, 4 mics?
Yeah, I'll give it 4.
All right. Yeah, and I mean, I was happy. The funny thing is, I remember Nas saying in the interview, they, you know, because people going to be asking about this till the day they both die when you're doing an album with Primo. And Nas was talking about, I was going through a divorce, so I kind of wanted to be in the studio with niggas who's divorced. So he was like, no, Swiss was divorced, no ID was divorced, so I was going through divorce, so we just kind of building. I'm like, God damn, that's where we at now? Like, we gotta, like, Primo gotta get a divorce to get in the studio. This get really bad out here for this Primo album that we still waiting for.
It ain't. I'm not even waiting on it.
I don't even want it no more. If it ain't no Lost Primo beats from 1995, I don't even want it no more. Yeah, I'm good. All right, Ed, give them all the information, man. Where can they get at you, man?
Twitter, EddieD80.
Okay, that was quick. Nick, what's all your stuff, good brother?
Big Bro Kill will have it tagged on IG and Twitter.
All right, Porsche, I know you don't give out your stuff no more, so I'll just skip right on over you. Too many people following you now. Veg, what's all your stuff?
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Vegas World INC. You can check out my podcast, Hip Hop News and Perspectives, Hip Hop Now podcast.
Yo, maybe we need to teach a class on how to pick on being an executive producer. Like something like that, because I'm just thinking, Veg, I remember, I don't know if you remember this. I sent you a beat and I was like, yo, I got this concept. It's like you die and you go to heaven. It was something crazy. And you was like, yo, I like the concept. But he was like, I don't think I could pull that off the way you thinking about it. And it was just bugged because most MCs, like the thing I love about you, Vegas, is you know your lanes. And I think that's what you were talking about earlier. You know, and I think most MCs don't get that. And how could we teach MCs how to kind of...
You gotta be honest with yourself. I think Vegas just honest with himself, because a lot of cats say, "Okay, give it here," and they'll do it. They'll give it back to you, like, "This shit is how do I tell this nigga this shit trash?"
Now I feel you, but I'm just thinking like how, like, because I think that's what we need, because there's too many yes men in the studio. You know what I mean? Like, yo, that's hot, that's hot, that's hot. Like, you know, even when Iverson got traded to Detroit, and it was like, yo, he gonna have to come off the bench. I was like joking, like, I know all his niggas playing rock, paper, scissors right now. Like, yo, who gonna tell this nigga he need to come off the bench? Like, you know, like, yo, nigga, I ain't trying to get him to cut me off. That nigga paying my mortgage. And,
exactly.
So it's like, who wants to tell this person, like, yo, AI, bro, you kind of do need to come off the bench? You know, like, who's gonna be the person who says, like, yo, you know, Jay, I think you need to go back and kind of redo that again. Like, can young Guru tell a Jay-Z, like, nah, Jay, like, you need to do that again? Or
not in this era, not in the streaming era, because it ain't no cutting room floor. They just put everything out.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Veg, you need to do that, man. You need to come up with an MC school online or something for like how to pick beats, man, or something like that, or you know, be an executive producer. It's funny, niggas have asked me to executive produce they shit, but then we end up arguing. I'm like, nah, fuck it. Like I'm telling niggas, like, I'm like, yo, I'm picking the beats, goddamn it, I'm picking the beats. Like that's it. Like I don't, you know, it's like, yo, unless you giving me full, you know, go with this, like, yo, I'm not doing this shit. Like, it's really not a discussion. But y'all know what it is with me, Kill 889, IG, will make beats for food. Check y'all next week, man. Appreciate y'all.
That's what's up.
See ya.
All right.